graphic nature of this program, viewer discretion is advised.
You know, I've been from one side of this fandom to the other. In all that time, I have seen a lot of things. Above all that, there is one thing I am absolutely certain of. I am the villain of this story.
Long live the fighters!
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I'm your host, Stone Loki. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and a big good morning to my panel, Purple Valkyrie. Good morning.
Morning.
A big good morning to Project Story Time. How are you doing, Josh?
All right. How are you, Loki?
I am doing great. It is Friday. Yeah. And a big good morning to the rooster in the hen house, Day Bob.
Howdy, folks.
And yes, Dit Room TGIF. It is Friday. Yeah. Good morning to Dega Outlaw. Good morning to Brightest Day. Chris Persian, Mark the Infinitely Tired are here. The Bash Brother Wrenches. Stornapupus Cuber. Good morning. Dee Myers and Golago 13, aka Brandon the Infinite Wolf. Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen. Pat S. Good morning, Pat S. Dead Man Walking 55 is here. Arwin Avalon is right there. Good morning, Arwin. Pat S. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys have had a great week. I almost said leak. Wow. Wookiee Lives Matter. Good morning. Good morning, Wookiee. How are you doing? How are you doing? Larry is here. I have not seen. Oh, there he is, a Dega Outlaw, the Doctor of Disaster and Destruction. Psychodorf 9. How are you doing, brother? It is always good to see you in chat, Psychodorf. So
I can't even type that without my throat hurting.
What, Psychodorf?
Yeah, the way you say it.
Good morning, heirs of chaos. Good morning, everyone. I hope you guys have had, like I said, I've had a great week. Mexican Iron Man is here. Good morning, Mike. How are you doing, brother? Lord Thoth. Guys, if you are ready, let's dig in because I know it's going to be hell to cover so many movies so quickly this morning. We'll start things off with Iron Man. I wanted, as soon as I saw the OG metal suit, the one he makes in the cave, I was in. As soon as I saw that on the preview, I was like, I am going to see this movie because being an Iron Man fan, I remember the original cover for the first comic book he did, and the suit looks so similar. I was like, they're actually going to make that first dark metal suit that he makes in the cave.
Yep.
Of course, the circumstances were different compared to the comic book, but man, That
Well, you
was
got to bring it into the modern age a little bit. That was actually, I thought that was very, well done the way they did it.
ingenious of them. Absolutely ingenious. He gets blown up by his own weapon, wakes up, they got the car battery hooked up to him, and he builds the first miniature arc reactor. What did you guys like about it? We'll go around in order. We'll start with Purple Valkyrie. What did you like about that first Iron Man movie?
I think it's because it came as such a surprise. I'm not a huge fan of Iron Man, but as soon as I saw the trailer, I was sold on it. We had Robert Downey Jr. He was kind of not what he is now. He was kind of, this is the film that kind of relaunched his career, I think. And I was very, very skeptical as to whether he could pull off Tony Stark. Obviously, he's not the same as the Tony Stark from the comics, but he took this character and he made it his own. And now I can't picture anybody else as Iron Man other than Tony Stark, other than Robert Downey Jr. And I actually loved the first suit that they gave him. I think as the films went on and as the cinematic universe kind of evolved, the suits didn't look as great for whatever reason. But in this first film, he looked fantastic, I thought. And what a fantastic cast as well. We had Jeff Bridges, Gwyneth Paltrow in as well.
I thought that as soon as I saw Robert Downey Jr., the Iron Man that I knew, that I read back in the comic books, he was a drunk billionaire playboy. And I was like, holy shit, that's perfect. You got Robert Downey Jr. playing a drunk billionaire playboy. This is going to be perfect. He is going to be Tony Stark. Dave Bob.
Well, honestly, the way the movie opened, with the cave and everything, I thought that was really, so good. I mean, it just kind of took you back to, the beginnings of Iron Man, different circumstances and everything, modernized and everything, but it was so good, and it brought out the brilliance of this guy. He's sitting in a damn cave in Afghanistan with little to no tools, and he came up with a miniature arc reactor and all those servos and everything to make that suit. I mean, it just shows you the brilliance of the man. I mean, he may have been a drunk and he may have been a playboy, but there's no denying his brilliance. And also, they were inspired by casting Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. I mean, that's all you can say about that. Somebody looked down the line and saw him and said, he's going to make a good Tony Stark. And by God, they were right.
Indeed. And real quick, before we get to you, Josh, Mexican Iron Man with a $10 super chat. Alternate Marvel Universe Best Faves 1 was Stone, Loki, and Mexican Iron Man forged alliance that would endure. Second best moment, I saw Iron Man 1 and inspired to make arc reactor powered white tortilla warmer.
With a tortilla.
With a tortilla warmer. Thank you so very much for that $10 super chat, Mexican Iron Man. Skull, brother.
Skull.
Josh.
I wasn't really paying that much attention to like all the rumors and stuff. So I hadn't heard Robert Downey Jr. was cast, so I had like zero expectations to go see it. So I kind of went in very, very fresh. And it was such a delight. It was Tony was great. Like it's like, okay, this guy is a schmuck, but he's a likable schmuck.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean the whole sequence in the cave where he's building the suit and he's making his escape was just great. And then to even that off with the humor, like because like when he got home, like the first thing he said was, "I want an American cheeseburger." It's like, yeah, okay, I get it. So it was. So for me, it came as a kind of a surprise because I had not been paying attention to any of the movie news around it. I did not know this was starting off a franchise. So it's like, oh, they're continuing this. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
There were a lot of people that missed the The end credit scene with Nick Fury.
Oh, I saw it. But
there were a lot of people that did, and that's really what started the end credit phrase.
Pat Steven Seagal with $2 Canadian super chat. So hungover, why is that dog and chicken talking? Because they're on the panel. And Psycho Dwarf 9 with the $2 super chat. I wanted to cheer when Tony went to Gomero. Rogomero. And thank you both so very much for your super chats. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man, for your super chat. You guys keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla. Skol!
Skol!
A dollar? I've never seen a dollar. Nobody's got a dollar. Let us see the dollar. There it is. It's beautiful. Take your hat off, boy. That's a dollar bill.
So a lot of people immediately go to Iron Man 2, but that's not the movie that came next. The movie that came next was The Incredible Hulk.
Yep.
Norton.
With Edward Norton. And I remember when I saw the casting, I was like, oh, that'll be cool. And I remember there was a preview that they did in the old style. It was the opening to the series.
Yep.
And it starts out and it's got him in the chair, and Dr. David Banner, and you're like, holy shit, they're doing the opening, and I wish they'd open the movie that way. This movie in some ways was disappointing, in some ways was great. I didn't like some of the casting, but I thought Edward Norton did a really good job. I think he did a better job than David Banner, who had played David Banner, not to be confused with David Banner. David Banner played David Banner in the previous Hulk movie, which I did not like. I love
the Ang Lee one.
Yeah.
That was.
Don't talk about that film.
Yeah.
I liked, of course, Sam Elliott in that movie. I liked anything with Sam Elliott. I'm like, oh well, beef. It's what's for dinner. But
Sam Elliott. Which one? The original one, or?
Yeah, it's Eric Bana.
Yeah.
By the way.
Oh, it is. It's Eric Bana. Okay.
Yeah.
David Banner is dead. Eric Bana played David Banner. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The first one with Sam Elliott, you could tell in the Incredible Hulk. What's his name was trying. I mean, he was doing his best to imitate Sam Elliott.
Gamma radiated Pomeranians. Is that what we had in that first movie? I can't.
Something
remember.
like that, yeah.
Oh. And
Hulk poodles.
Thank you, Arwen. Thank you for the coffee. I Hulk poodles, yeah. So I thought it was better. I thought the thing where Stan Lee, you see the little cameo of Stan Lee at the beginning, and he drinks the orange Fanta or whatever it is.
green
Fanta. And it's got
David's blood in it.
Yes, I thought that was funny. Lethal Lighting. Good morning, Lethal. Eric Banner was also Chopper, great Aussie actor. Yes, I just didn't like that movie. I just didn't like.
Yeah.
I did not like that movie.
That movie, other than just general being about the Hulk, there wasn't a whole lot to say for it.
He was also in Troy.
Yep.
Yes, that is the name of that movie, Troy, and a couple other ones that I really like. Lou Ferrigno should have been in it as a cameo. He was. He was the security guard.
Hulk.
Yeah.
The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, he was the security guard. He walks out.
Brought him a pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And he provided the voice for Hulk.
Yes, he did all the roaring, didn't he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Purple?
I actually really like this film. I know I've heard stories that Edward Norton is kind of difficult to work with, but I thought his portrayal as Bruce Banner was so much better, and I would have loved to have seen him kind of continue throughout the cinematic universe, because I'm not a fan of Mark Ruffalo by any means. But I really like this film. I thought they did a really good turn with the Hulk. You know, he was powerful. They've had this kind of sympathetic vibe to him, which I like. You know, he's not just this kind of mindless thing that just punches everything, which he kind of became in the Avengers, and then they kind of dialed it back in the following films. But I liked the story, and you mentioned where where Stan Lee drinks that orange juice. I would have loved to have seen like a follow up of that in a following film just to see what happened. So that was really funny.
Well, in Age of Ultron, he drank the brew from the casket of I can't remember what Thor called it, but yeah, he got carried out of Avengers Tower going Excelsior.
Yeah, he was wasn't he a soldier, ex-soldier, or
Yeah,
a veteran or something? Yeah.
Yeah, he dared him. He was like, "Come on, big guy, pour me a glass. I'll drink everything." Excelsior.
I thought Liv Tyler was pretty good as Betty Ross as well. But I didn't like what they did with Abomination.
Yeah.
Well,
no, shade to Tim Roth. I think he's a good actor. They just didn't know what to do with that character.
Well, I think it even goes into Civil War, because if I'm not mistaken, the IV they gave him was something that Tony's dad probably was like a failed version of it. He's like, this is how far we got. And then Tony's dad finally got the formula right and was taking it to SHIELD when he got hit with by what's his name?
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Thank you, Dave Bob. When he got hit by Bucky, and he took the formula and took it back to Russia. So I always liked how well it does kind of connect. If Tony's dad was working on actually recreating the formula, and that's what he took, it does kind of connect, even though what exactly they did with him sucked.
Yeah, you could tell that was something that was from pretty far in the past, because they went into that unused storage facility, and he got that serum out of the cryo storage and all that.
And yeah, but you know what? I loved Ragnarok, and I loved Hulk in Ragnarok. So I hated that they made Hulk smart Hulk.
Yeah, that ruined it.
Yeah, and you needed to build up towards that. You can't just introduce it.
Yep.
Yeah. Give him another movie and then bring that in after Endgame or something.
Yeah, but they won't make another individual Hulk film because they don't entirely have the rights.
Really?
Yeah, Universal still technically owns the movie rights. If it's a Hulk driven film, Universal gets like a huge cut of the movies, whereas they just pay like a license fee to them if Hulk's a side character. That's why there's only been the one movie.
I did not know that, Josh. Wow.
Oh yeah, Disney's not going to allow that.
Nope.
Don't take $1 from the mouse.
And it's sad that Norton threw such a fit because he wanted more money than everyone.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I want like 50%. And whether or not he was just being a dick, whether or not he didn't want to do it and was just asking for something crazy.
Edward Norton's notorious for being extremely difficult to work with.
He's very eccentric.
Yes.
Which, again, I think is kind of sad because I think he really did a good job of capturing the tortured soul that Bruce Banner is.
Yes, he did. And the control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's something that you would see come back in Avengers.
Mm-hmm.
When he shows up in Avengers, is that control. Like, oh, I've learned to control it. I've learned to make peace with it. And that's kind of what he's doing at the end of Incredible Hulk. When he's sitting there meditating and he forces it to happen, he's learning how to control it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we've got what do we got next on the Iron Man 2?
Yep, where they changed out Rhodey from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle.
He
Apparently-
regenerated.
Yeah.
He regenerated. For all you Doctor Who fans out there, you know what we're talking about. He regenerated. And again, I can't remember the actor's name that played him in that first movie.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Thank you. He wanted the big money.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, nope. And he was supposed to originally take over. They weren't going to bring Downey back. They were going to have him doing something else. That's why he says next time, baby. When they're, because they weren't going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. But Robert Downey Jr. did such an amazing freaking job as Tony. There was no way they could get away with it, and they had to do some rewriting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. I will have to say though that it kind of sucked. That movie wasn't. It wasn't as bad as Iron Man 3, but it was not anywhere close to the excellence of the first one.
Why do you think that is?
Well, changing the Mandarin hurt.
Oh God, I was so excited. I love Ben Kingsley. I absolutely love Ben Kingsley. So when I saw that he was Mandarin, I was like, all right.
Well, I thought we were talking about Iron Man 2, not 3.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dave Bob.
That's right.
Hashtag cancel Loki. Hashtag cancel Loki. I can't keep my Marvel movies straight this morning.
Yeah, come to think of it, I now don't remember. I thought the Mandarin was Iron Man 2. I now don't remember anything about that movie.
It's the one with what's his name in it? As oh crap, what's his damn name?
Yeah, hear me clicking and clacking on my keyboard. Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke
as Whiplash.
Oh, right.
And that's the first time we see Black Widow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's right. Okay.
I think Favreau actually he either wrote it or he directed the movie.
He directed this one. Yeah.
Thank you, Soul Assassin. Yes, it had something about a parrot.
Yeah. I think it was actually a cockatoo. It was bird. It was bird. I want my bird. That's not my bird.
My Mexican Iron Man with $5 super chat. Shameful major Hollywood diss. Robert Downey Jr. got his role due to personal call and influence in casting by Terrence Howard. Really? I did not know that.
No.
Wasn't an ex-parrot? And thank you so very much for that $5 super chat, Mexican Iron Man. Skull, brother.
Yeah, this film, it was compared to how great the first film was, this one's kind of forgettable. I think this is one that a lot of people skip over, when they're watching, unless you're watching them all back to back. But like you say, this was the first introduction where we see Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, and I actually love the way she looks in this with the long hair. I thought she looked fantastic.
Yeah, especially in this movie. I think she looked the very best in this movie, where she's wearing those suit pants and the white shirt, and she takes down Happy in the ring. I was like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah, you were like Gwyneth Paltrow. Oh my God.
Yeah. And Brightest Day said it was a parrot named Ross Perot.
Oh my God.
I don't know what it was with this film. I think it's because Whiplash was a really odd villain for them to pick as well. It's not one that a lot of people recognize, so they couldn't really get behind him. I like Mickey Rourke, and he seemed to be having a lot of fun playing the role. He certainly played it very over the top. but it just didn't. The pacing of the film wasn't there. It was very kind of stilted. I thought, we'd have an action scene and then it would slow down, and then we'd have another action scene, and then we had that really big kind of fight at the end of the film, and then it was over. It was odd. I thought, not one of my favorites, I've got to admit.
Well, him and Rhodey fighting, and that type of thing, and then pretty much he just stole the Iron Man suit and flies off in it. What kind of Jarvis would not have allowed that. I mean, I don't think anyway. There was several inconsistencies in the film.
And how about before we move on to one of the other movies, how about the casting of Jarvis? What did you guys think about the voice casting of Jarvis?
Oh, perfect.
Perfect.
Yes. Obviously, we didn't know at the time what he was going to go on to become, but like you guys say, perfect voice for him.
I don't know who came up with that. I'm pretty sure it was probably after everything, had already started, but it was inspired choice, that's for sure.
Tony gave the suit to Rhodey. He pretty much did. And Gologo 13, aka Brandon the Infinite Wolf with the $5 super chat. Phase 1, okay. Phase 2, okay. Phase 3, okay. This year forward, duck it. So far, this phase deserves to die a horrible death. No tears. Hashtag Loki loves matters. Thank you so very much, Gologo 13, Brandon the Infinite Wolf. And thank you, Mexican Iron Man, for your $5 super chat just a moment ago. You guys keep the fires burning bright in Valhalla. Skol!
Oh.
Long live the fighters!
So we had the it's okay Iron Man 2 movie. And then what do we had? Thor.
Oh, yeah.
And we got introduced to a villain that would send shockwaves
through the MCU.
Through the MCU, yes. Tom Hiddleston, of course, playing Loki, which I was not sure about until I saw the movie. Of course, I'm going to go see this movie. I'm going to go see it.
They've now relegated to someone that is less than anything, less than nothing now.
And I wasn't sold at the beginning, but when the deviousness started, and when the lying started, and when the tricking started, when he is in that room, in that holding cell, talking to Thor, and he's like, "Father's dead, and Mother doesn't want you to come home." I was like, "Brilliant, fucking brilliant! Yes." Yes, he nailed it. He absolutely nailed it. He's like, "I'm sorry, brother, but you can't come home." And I was just like, "Holy shit!" But why, brother? Mother won't allow it. And I'm just like, "Oh my god, yes, you lying sack of shit, yes."
Yeah, I think there's several factors in that too. He's always been the trickster, but when he found out that he was actually a child of the ice giants, it kind of, I think that's when he first really, I know that he had already let him in to try to shake things up and everything to where he could turn things around. But when he actually found out that he was a child of the ice giants, I think that really hurt him.
And Undead Ramen Thor is such a sweet, trusting golden retriever. He fell for that shit. Yes, Undead Ramen. I love it. Thank you. Holy shit, he did. What did you think, Purple?
Oh, I love this film. I think this was the film that kind of really got me into the MCU. It's different to all the other ones because it's directed by Kenneth Branagh, so it's a little bit more theatrical, I found. He really kind of lent hard on the Norse mythology, especially with the look of the characters and the look of Asgard, which I loved. But the casting was inspired, and it has a big cast. I love Tom Hiddleston. Like you said, I wasn't sure whether he could pull this character off, but he was so good at it. He's just got that charismatic charm. But you can't trust him, but you kind of want to trust him anyway because he's so good. Chris Hemsworth was perfect as Thor, and I couldn't believe how big he actually got, how much work he put into building himself up to look the part. Natalie Portman, not a massive fan of, but I thought she was pretty good. Stefan Skarsgård, I really like. I thought he was really good in this. Some of it wasn't quite sure about him. Not Kat Dennings. We had Idris Elba, but I loved Anthony Hopkins as Odin. I thought that was brilliant as well.
One of the cast members that I thought they should have used more in the Thor series was Jamie Alexander as Lady Sif. She was badass.
Yes.
Yep.
Absolutely. And really quick, there's no such thing as a bad Iron Man movie. They're all Oscar-worthy cinematic masterpieces. Stay tuned for Iron Man 4 Intercontinental. I don't know what you're talking about, Mexican Iron Man. But then he says in the final fourth installment, Mexican Iron Man picks up the Avenger mantle and assembles himself to travel to England and hit on Purple Valkyrie for 90 minutes. Of course, that would be about Purple Valkyrie.
Okay.
Good morning, puppy. Good to see you.
What did you think, Dave Bob?
I enjoyed the movie. I loved Loki. Like I said, I may have a different take on it, but I actually, I had sympathy for him. I know that, he's an asshole and he's looking out for himself, trying to become king and all that. But I always looked at him as a little more sympathetic character than a lot of other people did. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. And love the SHIELD aspect of it. It pretty much started out. SHIELD is just an asshole organization, that just comes in and steals all of Portman's work and everything, and pretty much leaves her, out in the cold. And by the end of the movie, they kind of semi-redeem themselves.
What about you, Josh?
I'm more just. I think the movie's okay. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it either. I mean, I love Tom Hiddleston as Loki. I love Anthony Hopkins as Odin was just such a brilliant idea.
Yeah. Renee Russo was good as Freya too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. For me though, the biggest problem is I didn't care about the Earth characters at all. I didn't care about Natalie Portman, and I have a very passionate distaste for Kat Dennings. Her voice just irritates me to no end.
Yeah.
So I didn't care for the Earth part. Like, just go back to Asgard. That's where the movie should take place.
Protecting the 9 realms. You are Thor, son of Odin, defender of mankind.
And I completely agree with Undead Ramen there. More Jamie Alexander.
Yeah, the whole "oh my god" thing from Natalie Portman. I was like, that's so cringe.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
No wonder she never wanted to come back.
Well, you can almost tell in this movie that she kind of phoned it in.
And yes, Arwen Avalon. Loki needed more hugs as a child.
Do you think it's because she didn't really know what to do with the character, or do you think it's because she's not really obviously a comic book fan? Or do you think it's just what she was given to work with that was the problem?
I think she signed a deal she really was trying to get out of.
But this movie's got seen Shield, seen Paulson. It's Paulson, right?
Coulson.
Paulson come back as Shield. I thought that was really cool, and this is the first movie we get Hawkeye in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of firsts in this movie, you know. Stan Lee ripping the shit out of his truck trying to get Mjolnir out of the desert.
Oh, that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Popping the bed off of it or
Yes.
whatever.
Coulson, thank you.
Oh, yes.
Coulson.
Yep. Phil Coulson.
Yep.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Before they destroyed his character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they killed him off in first Avengers and brought him back on Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And Colin, that's totally okay. If you liked it, you liked it. Anybody that liked it, you liked it. I'm glad you liked it. I always was like, yeah.
I always thought she was miscast in the role. That's just me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought they could have got somebody else. And Kat Dennings, I'm right there with you.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't stand her.
She's annoying.
Meow meow. It's not meow meow.
And they did that joke multiple times. It wasn't funny anytime.
Yeah.
No.
I was so happy to see her on WandaVision. It's like, yay.
I did, Ramen. I think Portman got pushed into signing out of obligation or pressure from her agent. She was clearly not happy about being in it. I really am dreading the next Thor movie. She said after the second Thor movie that both movies felt like a waste of her time because she wasn't utilized correctly.
Mm-hmm.
She was just a damsel in distress. And I was like, well, that's not what you were at all in that first movie, but okay. You kind of had these powers in the second movie. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of, I thought the whole thing with him taking her to Asgard in Thor 2, which we're not talking about today, Dark World, elves, no. But I thought her performance in 2 was better than it was in 1.
Yeah. But I didn't like number 2. Two was less of a movie than number 1, and number 1 wasn't the greatest thing in the world. While I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed a lot of the characters in it, it had a lot of flaws.
Mm-hmm. The best parts of this movie were anything to do with Thor, to do with the Warriors 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything on Earth, and it drags it down. And Loki, yes.
And Pat S, yes, Last of the Mohicans. They did that with Hawkeye and MASH too. They did the exact same thing. It was the exact same thing. His dad was a big Last of the Mohicans fan. That's why they called him Hawkeye. Was this film the first major departure from the comics by making the Asgardians merely advanced aliens rather than actual Norse gods? Well, they were kind of actual Norse gods because they went to Earth and defended Earth from the Frost Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that village that you see is the same village that you see later on in all the other films at the beginning of 4. So where the ice giants are attacking, that's where New Asgard is built. It's the same place.
I did not know that. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's insane. Well, of course, that would come in the next movie we're going to talk about, the first Avenger, Captain America.
Yes.
And the Tesseract, because that's how that movie starts, is them going to that church during World War II and finding the Tesseract.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that started off cool. With oh my god, I can't remember the actor's name. He played he was in Lord of the Rings. Jesus Christ.
Oh,
the guy who played Red Skull.
right.
Hugo
Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, God. I thought that was perfect casting. Absolutely perfect casting. Seeing Hugo Weaving. I wasn't sure about Chris playing Captain America, but when I saw how they did it, I was like, wow. So you've got this skinny, short, lanky kid that basically they deep faked.
Yep.
His face on.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you what, that they did such a great job doing that. I mean, you believed he was just a little 90-pound weakling.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I actually recently rewatched it, and it's that still holds up.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah. I remember that was the first Marvel movie that my dad was like, nope, not going to see it. Nope. And I went and saw it, and I was like, you've got to see this movie.
Ain't gonna watch Johnny Storm turn into Captain America.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And when I told him there is a scene where Tommy Lee Jones throws a grenade on the ground and he hasn't turned into Captain America yet, and he jumps on the grenade. Steve jumps on the grenade and he's like, get away. And Tommy Lee Jones like, he's still skinny.
Yeah.
We laughed at that, and I was like, you gotta come with me to the movies and see this. While it's still in theaters, you have to. And he did, and he liked it. He liked it.
Well, really, honestly, they did a good job on it. While it wasn't a perfect movie, it was a good movie that showed his beginnings and everything, and how he lived his life. Never backing down. He's kind of like us here in Valhalla. He would never kneel.
Yeah, Peggy Carter was American in the comics. Legendary, yes.
But
Haley
Atwell was perfectly cast in that role. I don't care who you say.
I completely agree. I have no problems with her.
No, not at all. And it was such a good story. Now, this is a story some people didn't know, but I knew because I read through the Ultimate series, and the story was very similar, except for the Chitauri being there and being like the real ones behind the right. You've got the Tesseract, you've got him fighting Red Skull, you've got the thing with Bucky, and that was
Hydra.
like Hydra, yes, and of course the end where he wakes up and boom, he's in the future. I knew that was going to happen. He was going to freeze and he was going to freeze when the ship went down. I thought he might be on a missile. I think that's how it happened in the comic. Was there's a missile that's going to blow up New York and he's on it. He's like crawling his way up it, and he rips out the guidance system and falls off into the ocean. And
yeah, I believe so. Yeah. And they did that in the 90s live action movie too, which was amazingly funny.
And M626M, yes, they were fondooing.
He didn't know what the hell that even meant.
And agreed, Darth Maul. So, Purple, what did you think? What did you think about Captain America?
This was one of the ones that I was a little bit skeptical about because, as you guys said, we had Chris Evans. So the only thing that I really knew him was from some deft comedies, and then he'd obviously been Johnny Storm in the Fantastic Four films. But he, like Robert Downey Jr., nailed this character. I can't picture anybody else being Captain America now because of what he did. I did like the deep fake. I thought it was really well done. I love the kind of scrappy, he's never going to give up attitude that he had before he became Captain America. And I love the kind of
all day.
Exactly. I love the back and forth that he had with Bucky as well. I thought that was a really, really well done relationship between the two of them. And it was great to see his original shield before they gave him, the round shield as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really did, actually dig into Captain America's history and throw some little bits of comic lore in for people.
Yeah, I love the way when he first got the shield. He said it's bulletproof, it's vibranium, and he said, well, why doesn't everybody have one of this? And he said, son, that's the only one on Earth because that's such a rare metal.
And the brightest day, yes, the fact we didn't get a Steve and Skull scene in Endgame is a tragedy. Oh my God, Project, is that the one from the 90s?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Holy shit.
With the ears. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember that one.
God, I had a poster because that was set to go in theaters.
Yes, it
And
was.
I had a theatrical poster of that. I think I got it at
With the shield. It was
with
like
the shield.
Yep.
It was just the shield coming to theaters soon.
Yep.
Yes.
And then it never came.
Nope.
Yeah.
It went straight to VHS.
Yeah, and that motorcycle was.
Then later, everybody had vibranium. Oh yeah, it was a
Yeah.
vibranium party.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like
It's rarest substance ever, but whatever.
yeah, kind of like adamantium, you know.
So the last movie on even though it's not phase 1, this is dipping a little toe into phase 2, is Avengers.
Well, because it's the culmination of phase 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is the big show at the end of phase 1.
It's kind of like phase 1.5. It bridges them, really. Honestly, that's what it does. It bridges
Yeah.
2 phases.
And I just have to say, what quarrel does an ant have with a boot? And I'm not going to get into the series, but I just have to say, he is a god. Loki is a god. He is very godlike in this movie, and what they have done, what I've seen when Big Mama Cass hits him with the whatever weapon she's got in that new series, and he just gets his ass kicked by it. I was just like, whatever, guys, you're really kind of stretching here. But it's a wonderful movie for Tom Hiddleston, and I think he overshadowed everyone. I don't think there was anyone, even Robert Downey Jr., that kind of stole the show more than Tom Hiddleston. This made Loki. The peasant gif, when he hits that guy with the cane, the suit that he wears when he's at that gala, ripping that guy's eyeball out and like looking up and smiling like Neil, you know, the scene, all of it, the conversation with Black Widow when he's locked up, the conversation with Fury, how devious and trickster he was through the whole thing was it was brilliant to me. It was absolutely brilliant. And I hate when people go back and try and analyze it and compare it and are like, oh, well, this is the reason this happened. We all know now. I just fucking hate that. Some of the best scenes, I think, in the MCU are in this movie.
Oh, without a doubt. The first Avengers movie to me was probably the best out of the whole series. A lot of people liked the Endgame and all of that, but actually, I thought this one was actually better.
And this was still under Paramount. It still has the Paramount logo on it.
Yep.
That's because they made the movie. Disney was in the midst of buying the Marvel Studios, but Paramount still produced this, and it was still made under the Paramount banner. So it's untouched. This was untouched by Disney. It wasn't until after this that Disney really got its claws into and moved the headquarters. They fired all the media department, the entire everything they'd been working on. I think they just kept the executives. Of course, they kept Feige.
Yeah, I think Loki may be a bit partial.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. But the whole scene, even the scene where Thor's like bitching him out and he's like, listen well, brother, and Iron Man hits Thor and he's like, I'm listening. You were saying what? What was that? The comment that Black Widow makes about stay out of it, Cap. These guys are basically gods. And he's like, I only know one god, ma'am. And he doesn't dress like that. I love that. Does mother knoweth you have stoleth her drapes?
and like the whole final battle, like everyone has like a moment to shine. Everyone's doing something. It's not just let Hulk handle it. Oh, let Thor handle it. Everyone's doing stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
It's so wonderfully balanced.
In the scene where Thor's standing there and Hulk just punches him sideways.
And he kind of smiles. He's like,
Yeah.
I got him. I'm better.
Or when Loki was like making his grand speech, and then Hulk just beats the shit out of him.
Puny God.
Puny God.
And the little whimper from Loki, like.
Mags, this is just like Budapest. You and I remember Budapest quite differently.
I think that's brought up more than one time.
We have a Hulk.
Yeah.
That's the great thing about this film. It's fun to watch, and as with chat approving, there's so many quotes that you can pull up as well. I love that because of what Loki does, because of the threat that he's now become, they have to initiate the Avengers. This is what kickstarts this group, and it's a group of people that really, really don't really want to work together. But by the end of it, they form this team and just take out the Chitauri, and it's absolute chaos where Hulk punches that thing. I don't even know what they're called. That huge flying whatever it is.
Oh, the spaceship whale thing.
Yeah.
That's just great.
Yeah, they definitely don't play well with others when it started out, but they came together as a team for sure.
And they also set things up. Like we saw when they first met, and they were kind of like duking it out a little bit. Cap, raised his shield and Thor hit it, and it caused that huge boom. They then use that later in the fight. It's like so they set things up.
The ongoing conflict between Cap and Iron Man. See, both want to be, the leader, but both are equally qualified, but in different ways.
I love the only good thing I liked about Mark Ruffalo was when he first went into battle and he just said, "I'm always angry."
If you notice, ladies,
but doesn't that mean he should always be the Hulk?
I think it means he had control of it by that time.
Yeah, I know.
And if you notice, ladies and gentlemen, on the right-hand side of our screen, our dragon here in Valhalla is he's got his mouth right over Thor's head, and on the left, looky there, the dragon's got his head mouth right over Hulk's head. No, that's not. That wasn't subconsciously done or anything like that.
So it was consciously done.
And Colin B. Smith, that yes, they came together because Nick Fury set them up over Phil Coulson's death. Yes, he brought them together using that as the spark.
Lied.
Well, no, he died. They just sent him to Tahiti and he got better.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
That's not in the movie. We're not a team. We're a time bomb. Ironcaster.
The other thing that obviously this film did was introduce our big bad villain of the films.
Yes.
So, and
right, the big bad that everyone in the theater pretended to know, even though only comic book fans really knew who Thanos was.
Yeah.
And I remember looking around going, "You don't know who that is."
Can't forget the Kree blood transfusion. So overall, what would you guys rate Phase 1? We'll start with purple and go around.
I would give it a 7 out of 10. I think some of them were not as good as others, but the ones that were good were really, really good. I think they handled the origins of a lot of the characters really well. And I think the casting for almost all of them, or at least all of the main characters, were spot on. I don't think you could have done better for characters like Iron Man, Loki, Thor, Captain America. These actors, I can't picture anybody else playing these roles now because of the MCU.
All right, Dave Bob.
Well, overall, for the whole Phase 1, I'll give it a 6. I'm a little hard on it because there were a couple of movies in there that were real stinkers that I, thought wasn't great. But as far as casting goes, I'll give it a 9. The cast, they had great casting.
Yes, absolutely.
Minus Kat Dennings.
Minus Kat Dennings. Natalie Portman. Josh.
I pretty much agree with purple. I think a 7 is pretty fair for the entirety of Phase 1 because Iron Man, Captain America, the First Avenger, and the Avengers, they're all really, really good films. So I wouldn't change a frame. They're wonderful, fun movies. So I would probably, I think a 7's a good place to put the entire Phase 1.
I think I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to give it a 7. I really liked Iron Man 1. I thought Iron Man 2 was okay. I really liked Thor more than I thought I would. And it was because of Tom. I think Tom and Anthony Hopkins really made that movie, I agree with Dave Bob. Casting would be like a 9. Casting would be a 9, except for Natalie Portman and Kat Dennings. Really, really good casting. I don't know about Mickey Rourke playing Whiplash in Iron Man 2, but
he needed the money.
He needed the money. He really did. I'm gonna do what? I'm gonna be a parakeet. A parakeet says no. I'm not do for you because parakeet says no. I want bird. You want bird? I want bird. You want bird? I want bird. Bird, bird, bird. Bird is the word. Big shout out to Bird of Prey 5 this morning. But yeah, I'd give it a 7 with really, really good casting. Seeing Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, I was amazed. I was like,
oh, he was perfect.
Yeah, and the fact that they based the reimagining of that character on Samuel L. Jackson, and then they got Samuel L. Jackson.
Yep.
Yeah. The Avengers initiative. And one thing we really didn't get into talking about while we were doing this is the end credit scenes of these movies. Yeah. You had Nick Fury and Iron Man. You had Iron Man in the Incredible Hulk. You had these little end scenes that were starting to tie things together. Oh my God, they're going to tie things together. And then, of course, as it got brought up earlier, Psychodorf 9 brought this up. Seeing Thanos I knew, oh shit just got real.
Yeah.
Shit just got real. I knew as soon as I saw him that I was like, holy shit, we've got a universe, and we've got a big villain that's gonna end up being the big bad at the end of this universe. And
he took his sweet time getting to Earth, though.
Yes, he did. He took his sweet ass time getting any of the stones too, because that was like right before he got that stone. Right before they ended Ragnarok. So it was like during Ragnarok. That's when he's getting that stone. Is during Ragnarok. So it's not until the very end of the series that he gets the first stone, and then of course it picks it up right in. He gets the space stone right at the beginning of Infinity War. So, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that because we've got more of these to come. Check us out next week, guys. We are going to have part 2 of this with Phase 2 of the MCU. We're going to go up until Infinity War and Endgame. We might even do just a show just for Infinity War and Endgame because those movies are so
Wow,
So massive.
that would be cool.
But thank you, panel, so much for being here. Thank you, Purple Valkyrie, Project Story Time J.O.S.H. What do you guys got going on coming up? Do you guys have anything you wanna shout out before we get out of here?
I do. I just want to say, I think we might have missed the super chat boss as well from Mags.
Oh, Mags. I did miss it. Holy shit. I'm so sorry, Mags. Mags with a $5 super chat. Thank you for this stream, Loki. Yes, there were downs in phase 1, but lots of ups to bring back great memories. Sometimes we need to talk positives. Absolutely. That is why I love doing the best of series on Friday. That way we can always end the week on a positive note. Thank you so very much, Max, for that $5 super chat. You guys keep the fires burning bright in Valhalla. And Mags, this one is just for you. Let's punch an old woman in the face. Skull!
God, I want to punch an old woman in the face.
Yes.
I love that. Anybody seeing that, there's just no context.
Yeah. What the hell is Loki and Ass talking about? Punching a woman in the face. Yes, he is. Oh God. So what do you guys got going on?
I've got part 2 interview with Cameron Pasha coming up in about an hour. It's I'm doing it as a premiere. It was recorded on Wednesday, so looking forward to that. And then I'll be back Sunday and interviewing Snowdub, which I'm really looking forward to.
Nice. Tuck and roll, Snowdub. Hell yeah. Snowdub's a good friend of Valhalla over there at the Cotton Connection. Really good guy, really good group of people. I think we even have a couple of people in Valhalla that are part of the Cotton Connection too. Mexican Iron Man and that Cookie. No, not Cookie. The other guy, the P Monster. Anyway, Dave Bob, do you got anything going on?
No, just watch. I'll just plug your channel, Purple, and Project Story Time.
Thank you, Dave Bob. Thank you, brother.
Thank you,
Josh,
Dave.
what do you got going, Josh?
Well, my wife and I are actually going away for the weekend. We are attending a fan convention that it's happening again. So we're gonna have some fun. So I don't know what Eris is doing on the show tomorrow.
I have heard through the grapevine, we'll give a little shout out to Eris of Chaos here, that she will have the one and only Lady Gravemaster, the one and only Mary of Mayhem, and the one and only Mandy from Wart the Wizard.
Oh, Mandy Summers.
Mandy Summers. So it is going to be an all-girl panel tomorrow on Eris of Chaos's channel. Guys, do not miss that. It's going to be absolutely insane. Thank you guys so very much for hanging out with us. Thank you guys so very much for being here. Chat, you guys are wonderful. I hope you have an awesome weekend and that you guys stay excellent. Be excellent to each other because that's a lot better than the horse shit that goes on. And be excellent to each other and party on. Oh wait, no, that's Wayne's World. My bad. Everyone take care. Whoa, hold on. Hold the horses. Hold the wagons. Pat Steven Seagal beat up a cupcake with a $2 Canadian super chat. So go without pants. Ghost Rider laugh. I do not acknowledge that as an MCU movie. Pat Steven. That is not. You know what that is? This is what that is.
That is one big pile of shit.
Everyone take care. Have a great one, and we will catch you guys later.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.